Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do a little bit of a different video. We're not playing games. When I was streaming, I was talking about how I made a beer and I totally regretted not making a video for it. And that one was a stout beer. Not everyone in my family likes a dark stout, so I thought about buying a new one. Just a lighter, more refreshing kind of beer to have for Christmas. And so I ordered one, and now I have the equipment that I have available. I bought some stuff so that we can record it. So I just wanted to show you guys that as we go through it. This is what we're going to be making. I think you guys can see I spent a little bit of time messing around with the camera. Just while we're at the beginning of the video, I want just to make a disclaimer. I am a beginner. This is my second time brewing a beer, so I don't really know all the expertise. It's not an advanced video whatsoever, and it's not a tutorial. It's literally just a beginner trying to make beer, and we're just gonna have fun with it. We're gonna try our best. If you guys do have any recommendations, just leave it down in the comments. Anyways, I just wanted to get that out of the way. Welcome back. So the beer that we have today is called Muntons. That's the brand, the company's name. And this one is Midas Touch Golden Ale. So it does sound like it's going to be a little bit more of a golden, lighter sort of beer. Hopefully, you know, one that you can just sip on in the afternoon, not too strong. That was the intention here. And this one here was reduced. The reason I chose this one over others was because the price was reduced. The original price was $38, and this one was on sale for 28 bucks. So I bought that off Kegland. The other thing that I've got here on the table, I want to show you guys. I'm not going to be making it today, but I was at Woolies buying the water for today's session, and I never knew that Woolies sold it. I was going to go to Big W to buy it. Check it out, Cooper's Australian Pale Ale. When you Google anything about like making beer at home, extract kits and stuff like that, Cooper's seems to be super famous. I've been wanting to try one of theirs, and this one seems really highly rated. This one here, Cooper's Pale Ale, and it says it recommends you brew it with a brew enhancer level 2 or a brew enhancer number 2. So this is something that we're going to be doing maybe in a month or two after we finish this. There's no way we're going to be able to get this one done for Christmas and this one. And the reason I'm kind of in a rush to get this one done, the Muntons, is because I'm hoping to have it ready by Christmas. So I just wanted to show you this. This is something that I found in Woolies, and we will be making this in the future, but not today. Okay, I'm just going to put it to the side. So I'm just going to go through the stuff in the box. I'm going to stop the video for a little bit, read the instructions, and we'll come back. I want you guys to know that I do have, even though I'm a beginner, I have done a lot of research. Everybody goes on and on and on about having sanitizer. So I do have Star San. I've already mixed up some in my fermenter. So there's Star San in here already, and that's just sanitizing right now. I slushed it around already, but we'll slush it some more. I've got some in a spray bottle, so we'll spray everything that we're going to use. And this is some dextrose. When we finish fermenting the beer, and by the way, I plan on taking you guys through the entire thing. You'll watch me brew it, and then I'll probably show you a day or two of the progress in the fermenter. I say a fermenter, this is the fermenter, but I use an old fridge that I temperature control, so I'm going to use that as well for this. So maybe in like 4 or 5 days, I'll show you guys how that's going, see if it's still bubbling. And then when it's time to bottle it, I'll bring you guys back, we'll bottle it together, and then a week or two after bottling, hopefully before Christmas, the bottles will be ready, and I'll bring you guys back for a tasting. And when we do bottle it, we're going to be using dextrose to prime the bottles. So just so that we get a second fermentation in the bottles, and that way we can get carbonation. So that's not going to get used until later when it's time to bottle. I'm going to put that away as well. So the Muntons kit, again, this was $28 on special, $10 off. That's Australian dollars. If you guys are in America, I don't know what $28 is there. Maybe like $20, 20 or 18, I don't know. Got a little instructions kit. I'm going to be reading that off camera. It's got a little packet of yeast. When I bought some of this stuff from Kegland, I did buy a Safe Ale 04, but seeing as it comes with this, and it says 6.9 yeast premium. I don't know if you guys can see that. I actually can't see what you guys can see. I'm using my phone to record, but it says premium, so I'm going to use that. Maybe it actually is premium. I can't tell you how many grams, it doesn't say, but that's the yeast we're going to use. And then in the box, we just have 2 tins of malt extract. So it should be as easy. I'll read the instructions anyway. But I'm guessing it's just as easy as mixing the extracts with water, adding the yeast, and off we go. But just in case, I'll read the instructions and then I'll turn back the camera. We'll do it together on camera. I have a hydrometer here ready. So we'll get all that sanitized. We'll mix it all together. We'll check our hydrometer to see what kind of an alcohol percentage we're going to expect. And then we will put it all in our fermenter. Okay, I'm back. These weren't really much of an instructions. I think this one's a lot simpler, a lot more simple than the previous one that I did. The last batch that I did, my very first batch ever making beer, was a stout, an Irish stout, and it came in a box. That one was more like $58, almost $60 Australian dollars. And that one came with like a sack of malt extract, a tin of malt extract. It came with some steeping grains, some lactic powder. It came with some, I think it was licorice extract, and all these steps on like how to steep the grains, how to then like strain it until it's clear, to then boil that mixture with the pouch mixture, and then I had to add it to the fermenter, and it was all very different to this. This here is more like a catalog. This is like they're just trying to sell more of their own products. The instructions are here. It's like mix the stuff, add the yeast, later bottle it. This isn't really what you would call instructions. I guess this one is just that simple that they don't really need to do that. Anyways, so we're back off stream, or sorry, on the stream. Off camera, what I did was I emptied out all of the sanitizer that I had in the fermenter. So all of this, I chucked it out there. There's a bunch of foam in there, but I've heard on the internet that the foam is okay, even though it seems almost weird because you're used to seeing soap foam. You see the foam here, you're like, oh my god, all that foam. But apparently the foam is fine. The other thing that I did off camera was the 2 tins that you saw with the extract. They're in my sink here with boiling water, just to soften up. People on the internet said that's a good thing to do. Otherwise it's really hard to get them out. So I'm just chucking some gloves on. I'm going to use that to help me get them up if they're hot. And then we're going to crack into these tins. We're going to chuck it in there. I've got a kettle boiling. So we're going to be using the boiling water and the extract. Hopefully that's going to help us combine the mixture, and then we're going to put in a whole bunch of water. I got some Tasmanian mountain waters from Woolies. Woolies advertises on the internet $3 for 10 liters of spring water. Every time I go to Woolies, I never see that. I don't know if they sell it at other stores. Every time that I go to Woolworths, it's $6 for Tasmanian mountain waters, so not what they advertise. I don't want to go to Coles, but Coles also advertises $3 for 10 liters. So maybe next time when I go to make the Coopers, I'll go to Coles and see if they actually sell it for $3. Because if I'm paying $6, you know, it's going to add up. Not that it's a lot of money, I'm just saying. If I can get it for $3, I'm going to get it for $3. By the way, here in Australia, if we say the word bucks, we mean dollars. Okay, I've got a can opener here. Chuck a bit of sanitizer on it. Hopefully we don't struggle too much with this. Alright, we're back. Let me tell you boys, that was not easy. I don't know if this is just no good. We used to have a really nice one, but we don't anymore. Anyway, we got them open. I'm going to chuck them in. Hopefully that water is still nice and hot, so this will mix in nicely. What I'm going to do is, after this was already sanitized, but I'll give it a couple splashes of sanitizer, even though the water we have in there is boiling, so maybe I shouldn't even worry about that. But I'll just hold on to it for now while I combine what's down there. I have a, on the spigot, or how do you guys say this, the tap, on the tap on this fermenter, I have a little plastic thing that's called, what do they call it, a sediment reducer? And it's like a little plastic thing that you put inside the tap, on the inside of the fermenter, attached to the tap, facing upwards. So if there's sediment, your beer comes through it through the top and the sediment stays in place, or that's the idea anyway. I'm hoping that I don't get a bunch of this lovely malt extract stuck in there, because I feel like that would be a bit of a waste. I have at the moment the kettle heating up some water, and I'm going to be using the boiling water in these cans to hopefully get all the goodness out. It's a beautiful smell. It's very, this is supposed to be a golden, but I think because it's, you know, heavily, it's just an extract, it's heavily concentrated. It smells very dark and roasty at the moment. Very malty, of course. Strong malty flavors coming through already. So let me show you guys. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'll look from behind. There's a lot in there still. Quite a lot. So we'll chuck some boiling water in there. Maybe I'll use a spoon. And we'll try and get that out. The one thing I will try and do now is put those gloves back on. Because boiling water, that piece of tin, is not going to do anything to protect my hands. Okay. All I'm going to do now is mix this in nice and thorough. It doesn't feel very thick, so I have a feeling it's already well mixed in, but I'll just go a little bit excessive with it to be sure. A bit safe than sorry. Just cut this open, I suppose. Hopefully I don't make a big mess. It's just water in there, so if I do spill, I don't think it's the end of the world. And I'm going to move the camera to be facing downwards, because I'm not sure if you guys can see any of this. Let's see. Oh yeah, no, you guys couldn't see nothing. That's what I've been working with. Sorry if you guys couldn't see before. All I was doing while I was talking to you guys was adding those cans in there, and I was just mixing this about. So those cans that we had, they went into here, as well as a kettle of boiling water. And it's just liquidy right now. I can't feel any thickness in there at all, so I'm pretty sure it's well mixed in. It's very foamy right now. I don't know if you guys can see me there. These are 10 liters each. As soon as I empty this bladder, I'm going to see what we're currently on. It's kind of hard to read on this fermenter, but there's a scale etched into the plastic. It tells me how many liters I have full. So we'll see what we're up to, and I'll also bring the camera up a little bit close so you guys can kind of see the bubbles, because we're definitely introducing a lot of oxygen right now with this violent introduction of water. Like, it's really bubbly. There we go. It's probably a good angle there. Let me just check out here. Currently we're on about 24, 26. So I guess we are at pitching temperature, which again, I believe is around 25 degrees. This says 20 liters, and we're right on the line, 20. So we want to be up to this line. We don't want to add another complete bladder. So I'm going to get this bladder here. I'm going to, just bear with me. We're going to add water up to the 23 liter mark, like it's asking. We've already hit our yeast pitching temperature, which I believe is around 25 degrees. It was. And then to get that in there, and I couldn't even get all of it in there. Like, I feel like they just gave me too thin a tube. Maybe this is supposed to be like a type of a converter or something, but I don't see a way to get this onto the stone. I just tried to get the stone straight onto this, and I used boiling water to soften up the tube. Ah, man, I was at it for like 5-10 minutes, struggling. I got the tip in there. I don't think it's coming loose, so we're gonna go at it like this. The other struggle I'm having is this bloody tube doesn't want to play ball. So let's just do that for a good while. But I feel like that's going to be plenty. So I'm going to turn that off. We're going to open up our yeast. I'll wash that in a sec, and I'll wash it while it's on. Hopefully that'll help. Here's that yeast that came with the kit. Maybe I should have sanitized that before I cut it open. Sprinkle it over the top. And people on the internet seem to be on two opposite ends. Some people say you gotta stir it, and some people say don't stir it. Some people say it doesn't matter. So I'm not gonna stir it. We've got plenty of aeration in there. We'll give the lid a good sanitizing, and we will seal her up. Okay, now let's give that a good sanitizer. Some people say to fill this up with sanitizer, so I suppose I'll just do as they say. I'm just a beginner, so I'm not really sure. I think there was one bloke that said you should use water in there. Okay, that's in there real good. It's got a little cap. Done. That was really easy. I think the hardest things for me were just getting the bloody tins open, and then this extra little step that I decided to do myself to add air into the freaking into the warts, I guess is what you'd call it. That ended up backfiring on me just because of how much difficulty, like how hard it was for me to just get that bloody tube connected. I'm pretty sure that tube's a little bit too thin to go into that stone. Okay, let me show you guys where this is gonna go. Get around, you guys. Oh, excuse me, boys. Just coming around. And you can see why I put that box there, because my fridge has like a lip on the back, and I can get it in there if I use the box. So I'll get the box in. That'll be fine in there. I like to sort of have, because it's leaning back a little bit. Let me see if you guys can see that. Yeah, you can. It's leaning back, not a lot, but just a tad bit. And I like that because when it comes time to bottle, a day before I'll cold crash it, and a lot of the yeast follicles will come to the bottom, and because it's leaning back, it'll have more at the back than it does at the front where my little tap is, and then I have an easier time using the tap and not getting as much yeast because it's all fallen to the back because it's leaning back. So that's going to be in there. I'm going to close this up for now. Here's my little temp probe. Some people stick it on there. Maybe I'll try it next time, or maybe tomorrow I'll set that up. I'm just a little tired. I was in a rush to get this done so I can try and get it done by Christmas, but I've got some PM shifts tomorrow and the next day before my days off, and I didn't want to wait before making this so that we can have it by Christmas. So now that it's ready, I can't remember what I was saying. So anyways, that's going to be in there. I've got an Inkbird temperature control. I'll quickly show you guys that. Here it is. So that I just plug in the fridge to this, and when it needs cooling, it switches when it notices that the fridge is too warm, it'll switch the fridge on. And then if it gets too cold, we're currently in summer. Summer in Australia is pretty hot. We're in Melbourne. I don't think it'll get too cold, but if I do think it's going to get too cold in the next week, I do have a little heating pad I bought for like $5-6 off Kegs Land. So I'll plug that in as well, and I'll wrap it around the barrel and plug it into this Inkbird. So before I leave you guys, let's have a look. If you guys can see that. I will try and have a look at it myself. It is just below that orange, which is 5%, or 1040 or 1041, which says it'll be 5% if all the sugars get dissolved. So you guys can kind of see that where it is there. There's a little bit of foam in the way, but I can kind of see it's just below that orange bit there. And then if you look there, it says 5%, 40. So that's our original gravity. Apparently, if it doesn't move 2 days in a row or something like that, you know that the fermentation's done. And at that point, I'm going to switch the fridge on full blast. We'll get the fridge on until it's 1 or 2 degrees Celsius, and that'll cold crash that whole beer, sending all of the yeast follicles all the way to the bottom, giving us a nice clear beer. And we'll very carefully, I've got like a little thing with wheels there, which I'll use to wheel very carefully to the kitchen. I'll bring you guys back. We'll bottle it when it's nice and crystal clear, hopefully anyway, after we've cold crashed it, and chuck it onto some bottles. So yeah, from here to then, you'll probably see one little snippet of when this starts to bubble. I won't use the tripod, I'll just hold it with my hand. And then after that, you'll see me bottling the beers. All right, guys, thank you very much for tuning in.